Can Trump really deport American-born kids? Can a president really deport a child who was born in the United States? It sounds like something out of a dystopian movie. But in recent weeks, Donald Trump has suggested that even American-born children, if their parents are undocumented, should not have the right to stay in the country. This statement has sparked outrage, confusion, and a serious legal debate. So let's break it down. What does the law actually say? Can Trump really deport kids born in the U.S.? And if so, what does that mean for millions of families across the country? To answer that, we have to go back to a single sentence in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment. It says, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States." That sentence has been interpreted for over 125 years to mean this. If you're born on U.S. soil, you're a citizen. Period. No matter who your parents are, where they came from, or whether they have papers. But Trump is challenging that. He believes that the children of undocumented immigrants shouldn't be granted automatic citizenship, and that their presence in the U.S. is a loophole that needs to be closed. In his speeches and interviews, Trump has suggested that these children are not truly American and that their families should be removed from the country, even if it means deporting kids who were born here. So here's the big question. Is that legal? The short answer is no, not under current law. As of today, if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen. That means you have all the rights that come with it. The right to stay, to work, to go to school, to vote when you turn 18. You cannot be deported. But here's where it gets tricky. While the child may be a citizen, their parents are not. And immigration law says that undocumented immigrants can be deported, with or without their children. So in practice, what happens is this. Either the parents are deported and the child is left behind, or the whole family leaves together. The U.S. government cannot forcibly remove a citizen, but also doesn't guarantee that their undocumented parents can stay just because the child is a citizen. This is what makes the issue so emotional and so controversial. Trump's latest comments go a step further. He's not just talking about deporting undocumented parents. He's talking about challenging the citizenship of the child. In other words, trying to say, this baby born on American soil is not American. To do that, he would likely try to reinterpret the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof in the 14th Amendment. His legal team would argue that undocumented immigrants are not fully under U.S. jurisdiction, and therefore their children don't qualify for automatic citizenship. But here's the problem. The Supreme Court already ruled on this. In 1898, the court decided that a man named Wong Kim Ark, born in the U.S. to Chinese immigrant parents, was a citizen, even though his parents were not. That case has stood as precedent for over a century. Overturning that would require a massive legal battle, possibly a constitutional amendment, or a ruling from a day's Supreme Court that reverses more than 100 years of settled law. And that's exactly what Trump seems to be preparing for. He's already said that if reelected, he'll issue an executive order ending birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants. That order would be immediately challenged in court. It would go through the lower courts and likely land in the hands of the Supreme Court, where, for the first time in decades, conservatives have a strong majority. And while many legal scholars still believe the court will uphold birthright citizenship, others say that with the right framing, the court could reinterpret the law and allow Trump's policy to stand. So what does this mean for American-born kids? Here's the nightmare scenario some people are afraid of. A child is born in the U.S., but their parents are undocumented. The government claims that the child isn't a citizen because of Trump's new policy. The child loses their passport, loses access to health care, can't get a social security number. And one day, the entire family is told to leave the country, including the child. If that happens, we're no longer just talking about immigration policy. We're talking about erasing the citizenship of people who have done nothing wrong, who were born here, and who have known no other home. This could affect millions of people. According to the Pew Research Center, there are about 4.4 million U.S.-born children living with at least one undocumented parent. These children are currently citizens. But under Trump's plan, that could change. Supporters of Trump's idea argue that the current system is broken. They believe that people come to the U.S. specifically to give birth, hoping their children will anchor them to the country. They call it birth tourism and say it's a loophole that encourages illegal immigration. Opponents say this is fear-mongering. They argue that children should not be punished for the actions of their parents, and that the Constitution is clear. Being born here makes you a citizen. And this isn't just about undocumented families. If the government starts questioning the citizenship of kids born here, it could lead to a slippery slope. What about children of visa holders? Refugees? People whose status is in limbo? Once you start picking apart birthright citizenship, where do you stop? This also raises a deeper question. Who gets to decide who is American? Is it the place you're born? The paperwork your parents have? The president's signature? Or is it something more? At the heart of this debate is an idea that's older than any law. That being born in a country makes you part of it. That you belong. That your rights start from day one. If we lose that, if we start saying that some American-born kids don't count, then we're not just changing a law. We're changing the very idea of what it means to be American. So can Trump really deport American-born kids? Today, the answer is no. But tomorrow? That depends on the courts, the Constitution, and the choices we make as a country. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should birthright citizenship be untouchable, or is it time for a change? Subscribe for more breakdowns on how law, politics, and history collide in the fight for American identity. Because the next chapter is being written right now, and you deserve to know what's coming.